Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Gist with Girls in Science and Technology. Gist with Gist. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel, Girls in Science and Technology Ghana, and let's learn from our amazing females in the science, technology, engineering, and math fields. Our females in the STEM fields. Let's continue to encourage our young females to pursue careers in STEM. Kindly share this video with all the amazing people out there who have succeeded. Thank you. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome once again to Gist with Girls in Science and Technology. Gist with Gist. So on today's show, I have this cute lady, beautiful lady, intelligent lady. She was my mate in Achimota School, and I'm so excited to have her on today. Please help me welcome Nadia Quainoo. Hello, dear. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. It's been so long. I don't think I've seen you after senior high, right? No, I've not.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think like after senior high, I didn't see a lot of people. Yeah.
So when did you move out?
It's been long. What'd you say?
When did you move out of Ghana? When did you go outside the country?
2010.
Okay.
Yeah, 2010.
Oh, okay. So how has it been like for you? Can you, like, why did you move? Why did you decide to leave us?
Okay, before I start, I just want to thank you so much for this opportunity to encourage more women to look into STEM careers. And well, 2010, well, I guess I'll just talk about like how things were. So after Motown, I actually had the intention of going to medical school in Legon after the gap year. However, things changed, like it changed so rapidly, and I moved to the United States. So when I moved here, I attended like a private liberal arts college in Missouri where I studied biological sciences pre-medicine. So like most pre-medical students, to fulfill the medical school requirements, you need an internship with a physician or an internship in the healthcare field. So it's the medical school's way of knowing that you're certain about a career in medicine. So I went through all the hoops. I did an internship. I knew I liked the healthcare field. And yeah, after graduation in my undergrad, due to financial constraints, I took a gap year to work. I got the much coveted job then. I think that was in 2014 as an emergency department medical scribe at a trauma one center.
Okay.
So during that time, I'll work nights, and during the day, I'll use that time to study for the MCAT. Then that was the medical exam. So that gap year as a medical scribe turned into 2.5 years. Man, it was long, but it was great. So that's because of immigration issues, finances, medical school requirements. So because of all of these challenges, I had to make a decision, and I ended up enrolling in like a master's program while I figured out my next steps with medical school. So at that time, I was still thinking about medical school. I'm like, I need to be a doctor, it will look, so I was just thinking about what will look good on my resume when I decide to go to medical school. And at that time, like I said, all I knew was that I wanted to work in the healthcare field, because working there, I really liked working in the healthcare field, So after much discussion with one of the physicians I worked for as a medical scribe then, I settled on a master's in public health with a focus in epidemiology.
Okay. What led you into going into the science field? Let's start from...
You know how when you're young, when you're young, you look at everybody and then like they tell you that the most successful people are the doctors, or the lawyers. And I knew that for me, law wasn't for me. Like I can't do law. I thought of the arguing, so I was like, okay, I'll settle on science. And as I went to primary school in Alcid Academy, so like my foundation was really strong. So I realized I was good in the sciences and the maths, and I was like, well, I guess I'll be a doctor because I was good in it, So as you grow, then things begin to change. But I realized that I was good in science, I was good in math, so I just stuck to the STEM field.
Wow. Okay. Great. 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 So, what exactly do you do now? Your job? Like, I want to know what your job entails. If there's anybody out there who is interested in what you do, she's a clinical data analyst. Clinical data analyst. So, I want to know exactly what you do.
Okay, so I currently work for a physician group as a clinical data analyst. We are still building our analytics team, and as a result, we are currently just a team of 3 analysts that serve our immediate value-based care department in the physician group. We provide support to our satellite locations as well as the medical center that houses our emergency department and
Okay.
inpatient services. So in that context, due to my educational background, I also serve as a data scientist and a statistician for the department. So all those roles they kind of blend together after a while. So on a day-to-day basis, I analyze and interpret clinical data by cleaning, extracting, you profile the data, you map it, you transform it, you model it from multiple databases to suggest creative solutions for quality improvement for our patients. So my primary role is geared towards quality or superior care for patients. So my team and I have also been referred to as BI or business intelligence analyst because as a secondary role, we analyze data and create insights for overall improvement of the organization. So all that, let me just give you a simple example. At the patient level, so let's say someone has a diagnosis of hypertension, which is high blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So the type of data I query for would be, in order to make sure we are giving our patients quality care, I would examine the data, use an algorithm to determine how many of those patients meet the criteria of hypertension.
Okay.
So criteria in this context will be that patients with a blood pressure of maybe 140/90, that's really high. So after running the data, we will realize that out of the 500 patients we saw in the past quarter, over 300 patients have blood pressure greater than the 140/90. Knowing this number will help in creating an improvement program for these patients to make sure their blood pressure is controlled. So we create a lot of these value-based care programs based on several gaps and disparities to ensure a better quality of life for our patients. We also use this data to make sure these programs we've put in place are actually working. So value-based care in the sense that we want better outcomes and lower costs. So we use data, more like health informatics, to do this.
Okay. 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 Wow. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. Wow. So, what motivates you?
What motivates me?
Yes.
So I feel like um I'm self-motivated. That from the get-go, I am self-motivated. But then growing up, when I see like my parents killing it, then you want to know that, hey, I can also be somebody in future. So that also motivates me. And currently, I find that my peers motivate me. Like I'm in this group called Women in Analytics.
Okay.
And when we get together and then we brainstorm and get things together, like everyone is in their different hospitals, and
Okay.
then we come together to put things together, and I think that motivates me to be better. And surprisingly, my failures to motivate me. Like when I fail at something, like when I was younger, I remember when I had issues doing if more less divide, if less more. I had such huge issues with that. And I'd go to my dad, instead of him giving me the answer, he'll start from what is 1 + 1? Like he'll start from the basics. So I've realized that I apply it to my life right now, where when I'm doing something and maybe my query doesn't work or my algorithm doesn't work, I'll start from the beginning. So those failures will motivate me to start from the beginning just to make sure I get it right.
Wow. Wow. And what challenges have you faced, and how did you overcome these challenges?
Challenges. Well, the
personally,
whole United
professionally?
States education, the whole United States education is a challenge. Trying to figure out your immigration status and all that, finances and all that. But throughout my journey, I feel that in the well, the journey itself has been a challenge. Trying, like, you get a job and they tell you, hey, you can't do this because of this, you can't do this because of this, more like immigration status and stuff. But aside that challenge in the field of analytics, you need space to create and space to innovate, and it has become somewhat of a luxury these days because of COVID and the demands of the job, and then having good work and personal life balance. And I've also found that, I don't know if I should term it age discrimination, but almost the fact that my size negates my brains and accomplishment. So most times my work quality precedes me. Like, seriously, it's been a struggle. Most times my work quality precedes me. So when I finally meet people, I get this surprise question like, hey, you're Nadia? Oh, you're the person I've been chatting with? Like, oh, or like things like that. I remember one time I was about to give a presentation, and before I could even begin, some guy looks at me and was like, are you old enough to vote? I'm like, what has that got to do with it? What has it got to do with anything? So I find that I have to push to make space for myself, most times giving a lot of time and talent out freely so people take me serious. It's ridiculous.
Wow. Okay. So what is next for you? What should we
What is next?
expect from you?
Well, okay, from a social perspective, my close friend and I, well, let me backtrack a little bit. So I'm passionate about health disparities and health equity. And I listen to my friends' platforms in Ghana, especially those working on the ground in our hospitals. And the way they talk about the state of the healthcare system in Ghana highlights a lot of disparities, especially for those who cannot afford it. So working in the healthcare system here, although there are disparities here like anywhere else, I can actually see what an effective value-based healthcare system will look like. And I want that for healthcare as a whole in Ghana, because let's be real, we need to build and fund Ghana's medical sector in order to reduce those inequalities within healthcare delivery. And yes, we need doctors, we need the nurses, but we need buy-in from other stakeholders. And some of these things need to start from a public health perspective at the policy level, so we can address disparities and sometimes even the social determinants of health. So there's active value of working towards active regional coordination in public health. So from a social perspective, my close friend and I have been brainstorming how best we can contribute to addressing the health disparities and health equity in Ghana. I can't put a timeline to that because, yeah, it's I feel like it's such a huge thing to think about in the future, but we will take steps towards that. And on a more personal level, in the next couple of years, I think I still want to explore health informatics field
Okay.
or use my knowledge in this field for something else. I've also been thinking of being a practicing epidemiologist and focusing more on maybe infectious disease or cancer epidemiology. I also have interest in hematology, so I feel like I have
Wow.
interest in a lot of things. So I'm just hoping, I'm just looking to see which door opens for me to walk through.
Okay. 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 You're doing so well. You're doing amazingly well. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because I knew you in Achimota school. So I'm not surprised. Just keep up the great work. So what advice do you have
Thank you.
for our young females looking to go into the STEM field?
Well, Your past guests have talked about mentoring, networking, exploring other careers in STEM, and not ascribing to the doctor lawyer narrative that has been prevalent for so long in Ghana. And I do agree with that. And thank you for launching this platform to change that as well. So, it always seems impossible or unobtainable until it's done. And the younger generation should not let the stress of trying to choose a career actually take away from the calling on their life. So don't let society's opinion determine what you want to be in life. Invest in being self-aware in what you're good at and look around and see where there's a need or lack of something and apply your skills in doing that. There'll be challenges in some seasons. It's going to be difficult, but you just keep going. Do the next right thing. Be faithful in the next thing that has been placed in front of you. Decide to pursue knowledge outside the confines of the classroom, because I'm a big believer in that. Because my master's is not in health informatics, but because I did biostatistics in public health, I could apply that in data and then trying to do what I do. And if I see that, oh, I can't do this, I go out there to look for that extra knowledge, So I'm a lifelong learner. I don't come here having all the answers, but I still have questions that need to be answered, and I'm still on the journey of continuous learning. I heard someone say success is making the most of who you are with what you've got, and I totally agree with that, especially looking at my journey and my path. And I just want to say that if you want popularity or to be famous, STEM is not the field for you, because it requires hard work, perseverance, diligence, and sometimes even adaptability.
Right.
So STEM is for you if you want to influence people. So yeah.
Thank you, 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 thank you. Thank you so much, Nadia, for making time for us. Thank you,
You're
our
welcome.
lovely viewers, for joining us today. Kindly subscribe and share this video. Bye.